Welcome. This is an advanced English lesson C1 level based on a short reflection I wrote entitled Don't Rush Language Learning. It's based on my experience in language learning. You'll hear the passage first, and then we'll analyze and explore the English itself. Vocabulary like ubiquitous and beguiling, idioms like yield to shortcuts and one swoop, rhetorical triplets, sentence architecture, including one long layered sentence, and the paragraph design that holds the piece together. Listen first, then we'll unpack it together. Many language videos are just Welcome. Today, I want to share with you a longer reflection. Welcome. Today, I want to share with you a longer reflection on learning languages. Not as a lesson with explanation or drills, but simply as an article spoken aloud to be enjoyed in one sitting. Welcome. Today, I want to share with you a longer reflection on learning languages. Not as a lesson with explanation or drills, but simply as an article spoken aloud to be enjoyed in one sitting. If you are an advanced learner of English, you may just listen and absorb the flow of ideas, the rhythm of the language. Afterwards, if you'd like to explore and unpack the English itself, the vocabulary, idioms, strategies, techniques, patterns, even the rhetoric and wordplay, I've also prepared 3 separate lessons, one for each part for this reflection. But for now, sit back. Let's simply listen to the whole piece. One story, one thread, one journey. Fluent in 3 months, 1,000 words in a week. These headlines are ubiquitous. Beguiling, yes. True? No. Languages do not yield to shortcuts. And if you try to force them, you'll be inevitably and sorely disappointed. I've experienced this in many language journeys. Some languages have solidified over a lifetime, others I've built in bursts and stages. Spanish I began, put aside, and later reclaimed. Arabic is my latest adventure. I've spent 7 months listening, just listening, recognizing sounds, patterns, and the rhythm of the language, and only recently, after 7 months, begun to vocalize, mimic, and form short phrases. If your goal is an exam like the IELTS, your approach must be adjusted. Targets, time limits, pressure. They are part of exam preparation. Yet, the principles that I'm going to discuss today remain. For your own effort and your own worthiness, you want that education to be long lasting, to be useful. Contrast this with a commonplace outcome: generations and generations of students passing formal exams, even with high scores, yet emerging unable to speak with confidence. And that is not the fault of the students, but of the system. Real learning, the kind that lasts and grows, is steady, consistent, and relaxed. Pressure stifles learning. Curiosity and repetition allow growth to unfold. Think of it like a seed. At first, there is nothing. You water, you wait, you watch. The seed does not sprout the day you sow it. It takes time to germinate. Roots spread quietly below the soil before the first fragile shoot appears. That is language learning. Growth invisible at first, then unmistakable. So the first key is rhythm. Steady, step by step, consistent. Keep that rhythm, and fluency will follow slowly. Not suddenly, but surely. And once you've found that rhythm, the next challenge appears. How do you make yourself understood? Here lies the second key. Learners often say their accent is the problem. It isn't. Accent is your identity. Pronunciation is communication. One you may keep, the other you must master. The very foundation of a new language is its new sounds, phonemes, new sounds, individual sounds, phonemes. You've never heard, never spoken, never shaped with your tongue before. They demand deliberate effort. This is not about accent. Don't blame your accent. Ask instead, am I producing the sounds clearly? From my own journey in Mandarin, a missed tone turns mother into a horse, ma into ma. In Spanish, meaning can hinge on the R sound, pero, but a single R sound versus perro, perro. Dog, a trill. Miss the trill and you change the word. In English, vowels are a maze, and A can sound different in different words. You got cat, car, cake, care. Same letter, but different sounds. And even in Chinese pinyin, CA is nothing like English C. It is an aspirated T, ta, ta, not ka. Every language brings sounds that must be learned afresh. I'll be honest, I get frustrated, even exasperated, when I hear English spoken in a way that isn't understandable. Not because of accent, but because the sounds are unclear. So start right. Otherwise, bad habits calcify and they're hard to unlearn. The key to correct language learning is good pronunciation. And the key to pronunciation is listening. Careful listening. Listening tunes the ear. Shadowing and mimicking then train the mouth. At the start, this means articulating deliberately, enunciating fully, even slowly. Speed comes later. It always does. Pronunciation is not only sound, it is rhythm and flow. Every language has its rhythm. Some fast, some clipped, some smooth and rolling, others staccato, even percussive. To speak well is to join the music of the language. And once you see pronunciation as patterns of sound, rhythm, and flow, you begin to glimpse the deeper truth of all languages. They are not rules at all, but patterns. That brings us to the third key, patterns. You can hear the sounds now. The new sounds, one by one, each on its own merit, not just a wash of noise. You are training your vocal muscles to create, to form, to round the sounds and pronounce them clearly. Now comes the third key, grammar, the dreaded word, the drills, the tables, the rules. It might even surprise you and may even relieve you to know that languages aren't really rules at all. Grammar is often presented as rules, but really it's patterns. If we call them patterns instead, it feels more accurate, less daunting, less anxiety provoking, and less emotionally loaded. Take English tenses. You can sing them as a pattern. I eat breakfast every day. Yesterday I ate breakfast. This morning I have eaten breakfast. Tomorrow I will eat breakfast again. It's a pattern. I eat, I ate, I have eaten, I will eat. Then you can move to the negatives. I don't eat lunch every day. Yesterday I didn't eat lunch. This afternoon I haven't eaten lunch. But tomorrow I will eat lunch. Again, a pattern. When a child starts to speak, they don't begin with a grammar book. They hear, they copy, they test out patterns. If a child says, I goed yesterday instead of I went, that's brilliant. They're applying the pattern they know. I played yesterday. I walked yesterday. So they're just saying, I goed yesterday. Or if they say, I eated breakfast, that shows a pattern of added ed for past tense. It's already there. You can see the pattern. Yes, it's wrong, but it's also proof the pattern is in place. Soon enough, you will learn, they will learn the exceptions. This is the same for me in Arabic, my eighth language. I don't want to learn the writing yet. I know the key, so I start Arabic with only listening. I listen to the individual sounds, the phrases, the rhythm, and the flow until I can distinguish the sounds individually and begin also to hear the patterns of the language. Another feature of language is chunks, fixed phrases that don't translate literally. So in Bahasa, you can say terima kasih. If you translate that literally to English, it means receive love. Terima, receive. Kasih, love. But terima kasih simply means thank you. And in Chinese, 加油,加油 is add oil. But it doesn't mean add oil. It means keep going. Keep going. And ma ma hu hu, ma ma hu hu, ma is horse and hu is tiger. But it doesn't mean horse, horse, tiger, tiger. Ma ma hu hu means so so. And in German, ich verstehe nur Bahnhof. What does that mean if you translate that literally? Ich verstehe nur Bahnhof. That means I only understand train station. But ich verstehe nur Bahnhof means I don't understand anything. And the other phrase in German, es regnet Bindfäden. Es regnet Bindfäden. It's raining strings. No, it's not. It means it's pouring. The same as in English, it's raining cats and dogs. And in Spanish, there's another phrase, meta la pata. It means to put the paw in, but really it means to mess up. And in Arabic, ala rasi, it's on my head. Allah on rasi, my head. But actually it means with pleasure. It's on my head. I'll gladly do it with pleasure. Allah rasi, on my head. Patterns are learned through repetition. The way you learn lyrics to your new favorite song. When children chant nursery rhymes, or when Chinese students recite short classical poems, they are absorbing patterns of rhythm, stress, and structure. So the third key is grammar is not rules. Grammar is patterns. Patterns you repeat, copy, and later understand. And yes, if you're a student preparing for an exam, you'll need to adapt your learning. That's a separate conversation, and I'll take up that in another video. For now, remember, patterns make language learnable. Repeat them, sing them, recite them. They will become yours as surely as a song you can't forget. Well, and that is the full reflection. Read in one swoop. You've listened to my thoughts, my journey on three keys to language learning: rhythm and consistency, clear pronunciation, and grammar as patterns rather than rules. I'd like to hear yours now. Tell me about your experience, your journey. Please share your thoughts, your ideas with language learning, the joy your struggles, the surprises along the way. If you'd like to go further, I will do 3 lesson versions, each focusing on one part of this reflection, with added analysis of English vocabulary, idioms, and strategies used to write the article. And this is designed for advanced English learners. I hope you have enjoyed this. When you're ready, go to the next part 1. Don't rush it, or simply listen to this full version and let yourself swoon with the rhythm and flow of English. Welcome. This is an advanced English lesson brochures. Take the journey with me. Let's unpack the language. Reach your destination. Clear, confident, and fluent English. Join me. Subscribe to my channel. Don't just collect brochures. Take the journey with me. Let's unpack the language following the passage as it unfolds. Hype versus reality. Vocabulary, idiom, and rhythm. The passage opens with clipped slogans. Fluent in 3 months. 1,000 words in a week. These are punchy, staccato lines imitate ads. That's why ubiquitous and beguiling fit. Ubiquitous. Everywhere, all around us. More precise than common. Beguiling. Attractive, but misleading. Sharper and tempting. Notice also, you may be sorely disappointed. Here, sorely is an intensifier. It makes the feeling of disappointment sharper and heavier than just very disappointed. Other intensifiers exist. Deeply disappointed, bitterly disappointed, but sorely carries a strong, almost painful edge. In one swoop, that describes the picture of a bird swooping. A bird swoops. In one swoop means all at once. We'll use it later to talk about reading or completing a piece in a single go. Then my voice shifts to real experience. Some languages solidified over a lifetime. Others were built in bursts and stages. So, solidified here is a metaphor from chemistry or building. It describes my experience becoming set and becoming firm. Bursts and stages. That's non-linear progress, which is very characteristic of language learning. Growth is cyclical. So English often borrows from construction and biology to talk about learning. That's why this makes C1 prose feel concrete and vivid. Now we contrast exams versus real use. Contrast, idiom, triplets. The contrast frame is explicit. If your goal is to pass an exam, but if your goal is to actually use the language, so these are 2 phrases to contrast exams versus real use. If and but if. The phrase yield to shortcuts. Yield here means give way or surrender, not produce. It's a moral image of temptation. Yield to temptation. And the triplets that I use for emphasis. Steady, step by step, consistent. English loves triads or triplets. They create balance and memorability. More triplets to notice and imitate. Steady, consistent, and relaxed. Listen, repeat, and shadow. And notice, copy, and vary. So these are verbs for pattern learning. Notice the pattern, copy the pattern, the variation of the pattern. Training the ear and the mouth. Listen, repeat, and shadow. These are adjectives, steady, consistent, relaxed when you learn a language, a new language. Then the sound features of a language. Rhythm, stress, and intonation. Rhythm, stress, and intonation. So use triads sparingly. They are powerful precisely because they are not constant background noise. Now consider this long sentence. I'll read it once. Contrast this with commonplace outcomes, generations and generations of students passing formal exams, even with high scores, yet emerging unable to speak with confidence. Why does it work? First, after the outcome, it introduces an explanation, passing formal exams, and compresses who pass formal exams into a tighter, more fluent shape. Then we have even with high scores. That signals concession. Something in the other column is also true. Then we have yet emerging. Turns out the sentence towards the surprising result, yet emerging. And the result is unable to speak with confidence. So this lands the point with weight. Contrast this with a typical promise. Learners studying every night, even with perfect attendance, yet remembering almost nothing a month later. So this clause is stacked, layering the contrast with the different aspect of the phrases, with concession and then finally the reversal. In the next paragraph, the passage moves to seed imagery. Fragile shoots, roots spreading quietly, growth invisible at first, unmistakable later. So the key words here, the key verbs here, stifle, unfold, germinate. And the second triad you see here is you water, you wait, and you watch. So these are parallel words, all starting with W. You water, you wait, and you watch with a gentle ritual rhythm. This is persuasion through calm repetition, not force. So notice the different paragraphs. One image, one unit in each paragraph. So at a high advanced C1 level, paragraphs is one thought, one unit of thought. So you've got the hype, the seductive slogans, learning language in 3 months, 1,000 words in a week. Second, the journey, my lived experience with Spanish, paused and then reclaimed. And then my steady start in Arabic listening. Then we go on to exams versus reality use, system pressure versus lasting ability. Then the image of seed and growth, the patient biology of growth. This clarity is why the piece is easy to follow in one swoop. Each paragraph carries one image. Together, they build a single arc. That's our C1 lesson. Don't rush language learning. We explored precise vocabulary, ubiquitous, beguiling, solely, and some idioms. Yield to shortcuts. In one swoop, the rule of threes, triplets for rhythm, to watch, to wait, and to water. To water, to watch, and to wait. The long periodic sentence, the paragraph design that keeps the message clear. If you like the entire article, to hear the entire article in one swoop, read it straight, listen to it straight without lesson pauses. You can watch Learn Languages the Easy Way, Rhythm, Pronunciation, and Patterns. I will put the link here in the screen and also in the description for you. Otherwise, join me for the next lesson where we shift from time and rhythm to sound itself. The second part, the second section, pronunciation, phonemes, rhythm, and flow.